Doug Karsch, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. There is one news item to pass along that might have an impact here on Detroit. Elliot Friedman, Hockey Night in Canada. Elliot Friedman tweets out, "Don't think we're going to hear anything on Nick Ehlers today. This one's going to play out a bit." So, good guy, good player with size, goal scorer, Winnipeg Jet. Looks like it's going to be a minute.
Bob McKenzie tweeted out Nick Ehlers' Swiss-based agent Andre Ruffner is obviously fielding a lot of calls, but says there's no guarantee his client will make a decision today, and it's quite likely to carry over to tomorrow, subject to change perhaps, but that's where things are at right now.
Okay.
So just further confirmation that this one might take a day or two with Nick Ehlers.
Yeah, if you look at between Ehlers and Vladislav Gavrikov, the defenseman from the Kings.
Big defenseman.
Vancouver's got Brock
Bozer,
yeah. Bickle. I kept wanting to say Bickle. That was the guy from the Blackhawks back in the day. Anyway, point is,
Brian Bickle.
Yeah, I don't know. I get him confused. Those are kind of at the top of the list of free agents. So we'll wait on Ehlers. Could he be a Red Wing? I don't know. I mean, I think part of the problem is there's a lot of teams with a lot of cap space now, and there's fewer free agents. And it's my concern at this point that they're just it's supply and demand. There's a little supply and a lot of demand, and the prices are going to get out of control. And people ask, why do you care? Why do you care about the prices? You care about the prices because there's a cap and you only have so much money you can spend and you don't want them to overspend on a player. It's like, why do you care about what Javi Baez was making the last few years when he wasn't producing? You don't want to waste the money, right?
No, you don't want to waste that.
248-539-9797. It's Canada Day. Looking for the best place in Canada to visit. Doing that as well. Hey, we got another edition of Are You Going to Eat That coming up today at 12:35.
Oh, nice.
Josh in Birmingham, you're on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Josh.
How's it going, fellas?
What's up?
Not much. I was just calling Canada stuff, so it seems really obvious, but I actually just did my bachelor party 2 weekends ago in Toronto. The pretty big group of guys. It was an absolute blast. I was blown away. I'd never been there before. Did a Blue Jays game, had the roof open, Hockey Hall of Fame, more bars and restaurants than we even knew what to do with. So it blew me away. I was pleasantly surprised by Toronto. So.
Josh, it's a great city. It is a great city. And every time I've been there,
all my friends loved it too.
Yeah, every time I've been there, we've had a really, really good time. It's so big. It's like intimidatingly large.
It was. We stayed right on King Street, so we kind of stayed right in the thick of it, so we were able to kind of navigate it a little bit easier. But, yeah, I mean, it was clean. The food was great. Everyone was super nice, and all the attractions lived up to what we wanted them to be. So,
you know, I was in Toronto. We were part of a family trip, wife, kids, got a hotel room, met my cousin Mikey, and at a Blue Jay game, went to the Blue Jay game. We were done, headed back to the hotel. I called Mikey up. I say, hey, you want to meet at this bar? He's like, I can't. Wife and kid stuff. He goes, Chet might go out. He's got a buddy.
If you got a buddy named Chet,
well, the truth is
that's a buddy you want to hang out with.
The truth is his real name is Chad, but I got him confused early and called him Chet.
Nice.
And from here on out, he's been known as Chet. And I ended up at some neighborhood bar in no idea where I was in Toronto with Chet till 2-3 in the morning.
I bet you had a great time with Chet.
I had a great time with Chet. Just talking sports, hanging out.
I find it hard to believe that you couldn't have a good time with a guy named Chet. If anybody knows somebody named Chet, it's probably a good time.
I pushed hard for one of our kids to be named Chet, and I got nowhere.
No?
No, none of my names went anywhere.
Would it have been like a formal name Chester?
So that's what it is, right? Is Chet just shorter for Chester? I mean, I would have said, yeah, we'll name him Chester,
or just call him, or Chet. Just name him Chet.
I'd be good with Chet, but didn't fly.
The wife was not having it, huh?
No, not at all.
Or was this
child number two that ended up being I think it came closer than Booker, which was another name I wanted. But we would have had our boys. It would have been Booker, Gianna, and Chet if I was naming them.
Can I call your youngest Chet? Would he answer? Does he know this story?
No.
How do you think he'd feel about that?
Want me to ask him?
Yeah.
I'll send him a text and see.
I mean, listen, man, he just graduated high school.
Would you prefer your name as Chet? The name Chet. Let's see what he says.
I think it's intriguing.
So I was pushing Booker, and my wife, who was teaching first grade at the time, said to the kids, if I introduced a new student named Booker, what would you say? And they all said, Booger. And it was the dream died right then. So
shoot it down.
248-539-9797. Let's get back to your open line calls. We got a Henry next up. Hello, Henry.
Hey, boys. Love listening to you guys.
Thank you for calling.
So I wanted to talk about the NHL free agency and what Yzerman tends to lack to do for us Detroit fans. He always fails to get a solid forward and a solid D-man. And recently, it just feels like he's just getting goaltenders.
Well, I mean, I'd say in free agency, I'm not going to disagree with that. I mean, they've gotten decent forwards, but the big impact move was a trade, was to trade for DeBrincat. Free agent wise, I mean, I suppose you could say that Patrick Kane has been a solid forward to get, but I understand your point, yeah. But I also think that free agency, there's not a lot there right now in free agency because the big free agents all re-signed with their teams. So I don't care if he gets the forward by trade or by free agency, just get the forward. And it seems like the easier path or the better path is through a trade. Would you agree with that?
Right. I agree 100%. There's a forward on Dallas, Jason Robertson, that the Wings could heavily use.
Well, between him, they could be right for the picking, and the other team could be the Rangers. The Rangers with Keandre Miller or Cooley could be had from there because they probably won't be able to afford them. So those would be the two teams that are most likely to be trade candidates for good young players.
Look, if you could get Robertson, do it.
Yeah.
Without question. I don't think there's anybody in town that would say, "Oh, that's a terrible trade to acquire that player." I mean, who knows what you'd have to give up to get him? But yeah, it seems like if Dallas is entertaining that, it's because they're trying to cut salary because they've got signed to other players. So if they're doing that, they don't want to take on salary in return. So then you have to deal with a team that has draft capital and prospects. Hello, my name is Steve Yzerman. We have draft capital and prospects. And you have a player that we would love to have that the Red Wings could turn right around and give him an extension that he's deserved of, getting north of $9 million a year.
From an unnamed texter, no team can afford two rush ends that are tops at their position on top 5 contracts. None. That's from an unnamed texter. I mean, you can, but you just have to deplete your resources everywhere else to afford it.
Well, you can, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know if it fits necessarily for the Lions, but here's where it fits. It fits a team that has a young quarterback that's really good and still on the first contract. And it doesn't matter because then your number one resource is your quarterback, but he's really good. So you haven't had to pay him yet. Meanwhile, I've got a really good rush end, and now I can go out and get another rush end, and you pay them both big-time money. There are ways to do it. I'm not sure it works for the Lions. And yes, the Lions could do it. But down the road, you're going to have to make some incredibly tough decisions of players that you will not be able to re-sign.
248-539-9797. Why are we afraid of giving away Hutch's money? Doesn't he want the team to get better? Are we really worried about hurting his feelings? The team has all the leverage in that relationship, and they should use it accordingly. It's about winning, not feelings. There's some truth to that, but I would also say I would rather have the 24-year-old Aiden Hutchinson than the 30-year-old TJ Watt over the next 4 or 5 years.
I would agree with that.
So I would rather give the money to Hutch and have him into the prime of his career than an aging TJ Watt. And the feelings aren't like a huge part of it, but then Aiden Hutchinson becomes that player going into the last year of his contract who's not happy on his deal, and you might not be able to afford him. And now you're dealing with the problem that we've seen Cincinnati deal with and Pittsburgh deal with. Or you could just sign Hutch, add Zadarius Smith, and move forward.
It's interesting because...
or if you can get, interrupt, TJ Watt to agree, I'll go play on my contract there, then give up the high draft capital and go get him for this 1 year.
All 4 sports are being mentioned today, right?
Yeah.
And they're all being mentioned for similar reasons. It's all about making the teams better. With baseball, it's adding by the trade deadline. We'll see what the Tigers decide what they're going to do. Top of mind right now, we've got NHL free agency that just began 25 minutes ago. NBA free agency began, less than 24 hours ago. And then we're bringing up the Lions because now you got this TJ Watt story. The biggest one, we haven't even mentioned this yet. There's a player out there in the NBA that just became a free agent that might be had at a cheaper price and to be delayed gratification, but would it make sense?
We'll get to that today at 12:31. Another edition of Are You Going to Eat That at 12:35. Karsch and Anderson, 97.1, The Ticket.